Good morning. Welcome to one more episode of AwakeNomada. Today I am in London with Olivia Nuvisi. So we're going to start with a quote of her favorite writer that inspires her. And then we're going to get to know her as a person and then as an artist. So let's begin.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the quote that I have today is from Bell Hooks, which is my favorite author. And she said, "It is about transforming the image, creating alternatives, transform our worldview, and move away from dualistic thinking about good or bad." So the reason why I chose this quote, it's because when I arrived in London, I pursued a master in fashion film and digital media production. And I was also struggling a lot with narratives about Black people in France and also Black manhood, which means toxic masculinity around Black people's image, especially in films and just in media and representation in media in general. So I've started to look into it. I've started to also read books about it. And I thought that, what I want to do as an artist using multimedia is being able to represent and change the narratives through image by creating certain type of image. And that is not about creating this very dualistic thinking, which is it good or is it bad? Which means like what you could have on TV, or is it a good character or a bad character? Is it a good hero or a bad hero? It's about really understanding the complexities of Black manhood, but also just humanity in general, and being able to create complex characters and complex identities using multimedia. So that's why it's my favorite quote.
It's a deep one.
Yeah, it's a deep one, and to this day I still use it also in my my new endeavors, my new creative endeavors. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Olivia, I would like to get to know you a bit more before we start with your artistic side, because you have different faces on that.
Yeah.
So like who you are, where you come from, what's your background, family, and all of that. We have talked about it, and I think it's really interesting. And you were the piece missing in this first season.
Thank you
so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you. So I'm Olivia. I'm French. My background is Cameroonian. Mm-hmm. Both of my parents are Cameroonian, from different tribes, but 100% Cameroonian. And my mom arrived in France when she was around 20 years old to start studying. So I was born and raised in France, but the way that I was raised was really like a mix of Cameroonian and French culture. Okay. So it's very funny because sometimes I always say, for example, for dinner, we could have like steak with bobolo, and bobolo, it's a form of manioc. It's a form of traditional food. And steak is like very much like European culture. Anyway, so it's really funny.
That describes how it was.
Exactly. So I always take that example, and that always makes my mom laugh, because it was very multicultural in the household. And I think at the end of the day, when people ask me, okay, where are you coming from? I always say France, because the way that we are raised there is to kind of like forget about our origins, because let's say the French social system is everybody under the Republic, so it doesn't really allow people to show themselves and their true colors and origins. And even at this present moment, there's a lot of talks and problems about that. So I always say that, but I've always been a very proud Cameroonian. I'm very proud of my culture. I'm very proud of where I'm coming from. I used to travel there every summer with my family.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
So I loved my culture. I love everything about it. And then I've always been very much of an artsy person, but obviously for obvious reason, I started with like a general background career. I started, studying economics, law, but at the same time, I was also starting to do photography. Okay. And my mom was always telling me, "Why are you going outside, do photography? Just stay home and study," But I was like, no, I want to do photography. because she also she's an artist, and she was always telling me and nagging me about the fact that there's no money in art. Yeah. So photography, fashion, and then music was always there. I was always playing music with my guitars. And then I studied, and then I took a gap year because I had enough of this thing. I cannot study anymore. I had enough. I'm gonna take a gap year to try to look for myself while still working, because I started doing internships, but it wasn't the same as studying. So I was working, but I had time to really focus on what I wanted to do. I started doing photo shoots by myself. I started working with other people in the industry, and I was like, yeah, I want to be an artist. I want to do art stuff. So what? Wow. So I decided to move to London to pursue my MA. And then, funny enough, after I pursued my MA, I realized I didn't want to work in fashion. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the thing. Yeah, I feel like my background is a little bit of.
Yeah, but that's the way you find yourself,
right? So after receiving my very expensive MA,
that's the thing is like, man, exactly. I invest all of that and know you're going to use
especially
it.
My mom was like, "What do you mean you're not going to find a job?" I was like, "I don't think that's for me." Yeah. So after my MA, that's the thing. I started like having like a survival job, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing freelance to try to find out what I really want to do, because I don't want to do fashion films. That's the thing, even with the quote that I have, is that I wanted to create films, like social films and stuff like that, but then I realized it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I'm a very like fast-paced ADHD person, so the thing is I want to be able to work and see the result very like fast.
Oh, okay.
And I have a hard time try to follow the vision. And when it comes to films, you have to write your script out, and it can take 2, 3, 5 years just to get budget. Like, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I don't have the peace. I mean, at least back then I didn't have that type of peace within myself to wait for 5 years and see your baby, you know? So I was like, no, I'm not going to do films. And then, I started working in hospitality, and then I started working freelance in the film industry. And then I was like, I still miss something. I still don't see myself working in the film industry my whole life, and I miss something. And then the music, y'all, it was the music. The calling for music was the strongest, and it's still the strongest to this day. I dived myself back into music, which was my first calling, to be honest.
But why you didn't decide to go to music first then?
So that's the thing. I think it's for two reasons. First of all, I've always struggling with validation when I was growing up. Okay. Coming from my parents, from the people at my school, because I was also very much bullied when I was younger. Ooh. So I've always just struggled with, am I good enough? And I've always struggled with trying to prove to everyone that I can do everything. That comes from, lack of validation and trying to seek validation. So when I was younger, I was trying to just do everything. I can study in economics, I can do photography, I can do music, I can do this, I can do that. So obviously when I arrived there, I was like, okay, I have this love for fashion films, but I can also do this, I can also do that. Because even during my master's, I was also working, I was also doing other things. So I wasn't even focused fully on my master's, because my mind was somewhere else. And I was already thinking about music while I was doing my MA. So it's like, and it was even COVID time, but I still had time I had a lot of time to think about the music. So it's like, I think I was trying to prove to a lot of people, and myself probably included, that I could do it all, most importantly, and then I could also just have this career and then also do my music. And I think now it has changed. I'm very much more intimate about I want to do music, and I know that this is for me. But I also don't want to push away the fact that I have a lot of passions within myself. My soul calls for a lot of things that are very much more different from each other, and I don't want to push that away. So it's one thing, the lack of the seeking validation, but also the fact that I love films, I love music, I love food. I love so many things. Amazing. And I feel like it's a big privilege to actually be able to have your soul craving for so many different things in life, especially because from a very young age, I've suffered from depression. in a very like, it went very, very far, and I'm still struggling it today. So I need to remind myself why I'm here and what I really like about life. So yeah, that's also why I'm like very like, I want to do it, because I need to remind myself that there's a reason why I'm here. Yeah, it's worth it.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a very deep person. I'm super deep.
It's fine,
so everything is gonna.
I like that. It's interesting because I consider myself to be a multi-passional soul.
Yeah.
And I think we are both on the same page. So
Yeah.
I do understand all of this trying to try everything.
Yeah.
It's like, if this was the only life that we will have, I wouldn't know that. So we have to, yeah. It's really interesting. So how was the time where you were not in arts, studying arts? Like when you study economics and law, how long was that?
It was 3 years.
And how were those 3 years? Because if art was always there, I don't want to imagine.
Those 3 years were, oh my God, you're going to make me cry. Those 3 years were the most depressive years of my life, probably. Okay. The only moment of joy that I would have was me picking up my camera. Me picking up my camera, going outside, taking pictures and everything. And because I know that I'm a smart person and I know that I have a lot of talents, I've never failed at school. That's also the thing. Like, I've kept up with the 3 years. I graduated. Like, I've never failed. Because also that's also something else, the fear of failure, which is another subject. Okay. I wouldn't be able to let myself fail. Like, okay, I wouldn't be able to do that. The shame in it, nah, we're not going to do that. So I wouldn't be able to let myself fail. But I had like, during those 3 years, I really have what you call that functional depression. So I was able to function enough to sustain myself, like emotionally, spiritually. I mean, no, emotionally I was a wreck, but I was a total wreck.
You kept going.
I kept going. Yeah, I was. So there's something that my peers used to say in class is like, where is she? Because I wasn't attending. Like, that's a big thing about me. People need to know. Like, it's funny because even my girlfriend, no, actually, I think I told her like that I wasn't attending school. I wasn't attending. Like, my uni, I wasn't attending, but I was great. But I was having good grades. And the teachers were like, why are you not attending? Like, calm. Like, why are you not attending? And that's the thing. Like, it's like, because I was mostly like depressed, and sometimes I would calm, sometimes I wouldn't calm. I was always like, when I was calm, when I was going there, I was always very happy to see people, everything like that. But I was just thinking about my bed. I was thinking about my camera. I don't want to be here. I was just always thinking, I don't want to be here. And you always, when you are in a place, like a physical place, and you want to be there mentally somewhere else, it is so hard because it's like a perpetual
torture.
Exactly. You're just fighting with yourself all the time. So those 3 years were like, I was really fighting with myself a lot, mixed with trying to pick up my camera whenever I would be able to, mixed with I need to have good grades. So that was those 3 years.
No pressure, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot, but I was trying to be the best I could. And to be honest, I did great, because even myself, I was shocked of the grades that I had. And even like my mom, like everybody was like, and especially my teachers were like, we don't understand, like, how do you, because that's the thing, it's like, I didn't necessarily attend, but I love to read books. So I was actually reading everything that they say I needed to read. And I was reading, I was doing my own research. So whenever the exam would come, well, I would be able to do it,
That's it.
So, yeah, that was those 3 years, babes.
Okay. With no light years, but you went through them, which is fair enough. It's important that I admire when you go into uncomfortable situations. That is really uncomfortable. You still went through. And I understand when you say that you wouldn't allow yourself to failure. Why did you choose economic and laws? It was you or was your family?
So that's the thing. I think it was, Because even after like what you guys call here GCSEs or like your A level, no, I think it's A levels at 18. You have your A levels. After my A level, and I was like, oh my God, what I'm going to do? I think it was very much more again into like, I need to prove to myself then that I can be successful in this. But at the same time, because I'm a very playful person, and I was like, oh, should I try this? Like, it wasn't like a really conscious, like fully conscious decision. It was mostly like, oh, if I have this, maybe I can have this. Because in France, it's much more respected to start on a general basis. To have like a general base, like a general knowledge about everything. So social studies, economics, law, which is actually what I did for like the 3 years. It was like economics and law, but I also studied like social studies, like history. It was like a mix of a lot of things. And then after that, to specify yourself into like into an industry and whatever you want. Exactly. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do economics and law just to start off, and then we'll see whatever I want to do. And I was like, law is fun and economics is fun, but law is actually fun. To be honest, I find it fun.
I don't know. I haven't studied law. I saw my sister doing it and I didn't find anything fun of it. But, I think smart people, like you like reading, she likes reading, and you like letters. Exactly. Not a letters person.
Yeah, I think it's also that is the fact that I love knowledge, but like knowledge that you have in books. I think I've always been like very much more like, oh my God, you can find so many things, and I love that. I love to read. Yeah, like I've always had like a very curious mind. So it was like books, internet. Also, I've grown up in the age of internet, so it's like. It was like a lot of sources. And yeah, books always been like, I love to read. I love to be able to, I know this. Okay, because that's also the thing. When I was younger, people used to call me like Mrs. Know-it-all. I think it's the thing in English. Tu sais, I don't even know how to speak French anymore. But yeah, it's this expression of like trying to tell people that you know everything. And I think it was because of my seeking validation problem. But it kind of helped me because I went through like reading so much books and try to, build my knowledge and build myself through that. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. It's really interesting because it's a habit that you picked.
Yeah.
And if you pick it right, reading gives you everything. Everything in terms of like knowledge. You can learn anything with a book. So amazing. What about the artistic way? Let's talk about your photography, your style of photography. How did you start and where are you now with that?
Okay. So how I was saying, I've grew up in the age of internet. And I was always very like fond of American styles of shooting music videos. Okay. I was very interested into this old fisheye, Hype Williams style of videos with Missy Elliott, Janet Jackson, Busta Rhymes, like those very sharp colors. And fisheye kind of energy in the 90s and the 2000s. I was like obsessed with it from a very young age. I think it's also thanks to my sister, because my sister is like 3 years old, 2 years and a half older than me. So it was very it was easier for me to get into this environment of like American and stuff like that. That's also why my accent is a bit like, it's not British, it's not American, it's like in between. With the French cherry on top kind of thing. And my photographic style was very much that I was film with a lot of flash and a lot of portraits. I wouldn't necessarily be actually interested in anything landscaping, animals, nature. For me, was super boring. Like, I was like, what do you want me to see? Yeah, flowers. Like, okay. I wasn't interested in none of that. I was really interested in like human behavior in front of the camera. People, seeing smiles, fashion, also the way you show shoes and everything, because that's the thing with Americans have a way to do things and with more style, with a little bit more swag, and I wanted to be able to represent that in my pictures. And then that was my first taste. My first taste in image. And then I started doing fashion weeks. So I was for some time, from the age of 16 to 18, I was what you call a street style photographer. and I was actually getting paid a bit from it. At 16, that's good. So I had a blog, and I would go during fashion weeks, and I would take pictures of people and their style in the street, basically. And I used to love doing that because people have like crazy styles. Exactly.
And in France, that is like, oh my God.
Exactly. So I had like a bit of collaboration here and there. I was also writing blogs, like actually writing articles for a couple of like fashion magazines, these kind of things. And then when I came here, I think that my taste kind of changed because I started studying really like Black studies, like Black history, because of the subject that I took, which was Black manhood and toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. So the type of image that I like kind of like changed. I've dived into the history of photography, but through Black people's lenses, because obviously they didn't have as much opportunities as white people into the photography industry. So I've started looking into that more, and then the representation of the bodies in photography, and how Black people's bodies were represented and used, and also how we changed it through using like a Black person taking the picture and everything, Black photographers, and that really opened up. It's like awakening, art history awakening, because I've just realized that I want to show like the how do you say it? Not the sweetness, but the being delicate, like when you soft. The softness of communities through images. And that's why my first short film, because I directed a short film, is about a big guy. It's so weird to say that, but he's basically very tall and very muscular. And it's about him going to an interview for a job and not being able to get it because of his appearance, and how he is basically depressed because of it. Aww. So I wanted to be able to show that more, like the vulnerability sides, and how to be able to depict that on films. And I was so invested in that. So I have, for example, Steve McQueen is one of my favorite. He's an artist, director, TV series director, producer, showrunner. I mean, he's amazing, but he has been able for decades now to really show vulnerability through multimedia. So he has been like one of my main inspiration, being able to show vulnerability. So that's the thing. That's where I was when I was studying, and also when I graduated. But then after graduating, I kind of like left my camera on the side, and I kind of I didn't leave the camera on the side, but I left the human social study part of me, and I started picking up my camera to go to concert, and then working on sets with music artists. And I think that's when the music started off. Okay. And now I haven't worked with artists in a long time, but I'm still available to work with artists on concert, or doing like BTS and behind like all these kind of things with artists. And I still use my camera from time to time if I do content creation for other clients and stuff like that. So
but it's been changing since
1000%.
But it's amazing to use art to work into all these matters of social matters that are so important, and more for the Black community, for yourself. I think this is how we should use art, because everything that we create and show out there sends a message, the message has been always made by the same people.
Exactly.
And we are not all the same. I'm really proud to find someone that wants to show and fight to show the cultural background. I see you do music, photography, and films. Right.
Yeah.
And as I was telling you, like, it's good that you communicate your message to this, but you have studied other things as we talk, like economics, social. Are those things, the knowledge that you have that go into art as well?
Yeah, well, I think 1000%. I mean, it doesn't go really into my art, but it helps me to back up the stories that I have. For example, the economic side, while I was studying economics, obviously you have to read about, for example, one of the subjects, and that was mixed with the law, was about the state of the labor market in France and how congested it is and how hard it is for younger people to arrive on the labor market and to find something for very numerous reasons that I won't go into detail, but for a lot of reasons. That was also mixed up with the studies that I did about labor law.
Okay.
So and all of those type of knowledge, when I'm trying to, for example, the short film that I didn't just wake up and be like, okay, I want to do a film about this. I thought about how hard it would be for people to arrive on the labor market and have a job, but mixed with racial problems that we have in France, how hard could it be? You know what I mean? And then I've started looking into articles, documentaries about certain people talking about how hard it was for them to find a job, how they would have to change their names on their resume to find a job. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Yeah, because obviously a Martin, and I have I have nothing about Martins, but let's say a Martin sounds better than the Mohammed. So obviously, and especially in France. So how hard would it be for them to get a job? So that's all of the social studies that I've done always backed up the way that I look at art and the way that I want to communicate my message.
It's a bit of like activism.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1000. Yeah, 1000%. I definitely want. So that's the thing. My music is. I wouldn't consider my music like activists, because I just want to sing through the lens of a Black person. But which is, to be honest, when you put this type of lens anyway, racial lens, is always a little bit of activism in it. But I just want to be able to show my vulnerable side through my music. But through the film and the content creation that I want to do, it's really like, more like activist. Like I want to be able to depict Black people in a certain way that obviously emphasize their beautiful sides. So
no, of course, because I think that is we have to narrate the other side of the story.
Exactly.
It hasn't been told how it is.
Yeah.
And I am impressed on how much in this podcast I'm learning, because I meet different people with different backgrounds, with different stories. And I'm like, man, everything I have been educated about is bullshit. It's total. So for me, this is like a social kind of master. I'm doing just learning about the different cultures, the different beliefs, and not just of a group, a community, but each individual. You cannot judge a culture
based on whole.
No, because each individual make their own decisions, and art plays a big side of that.
I agree.
Let's talk about your music now.
Yeah.
Well, you said that music was there always. So let's start from the beginning. How was music present when you were younger, and how is it now?
So when I was younger, I remember just like singing out loud with my sister, because also my sister has this music fiber inside of her. I used to just sing out loud and just be crazy about it. And the thing is, while growing up, I've actually realized that my dad was into music. So my dad never lived in the house with my mom and my sister. And I was always meeting him outside. And I think I would remember forever. I was at my cousin's house, and I was on YouTube, obviously. I think I was like 11 or 12, something like that. And there was this girl called Samantha. I'm pretty sure you can find her on YouTube. And she was doing covers with her guitar. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I called my dad and I was like, yeah, Dad, I want to pick up the guitar. And then he told me, oh, really? Because I've been playing the guitar for 40 years. And I was like, wait, what? Like, how come I've never known that about you, that you were actually like, you've been playing guitar. Yeah, a musician. And then one that made me very much daddy issues problems, but that's another subject for another time. And then two, that was actually the instrument that made me connect with my dad. Because, he was then I was like, okay, who's going to teach me? And he was like, I'm going to teach you. So that was the only good memories that I have with my dad, is him teaching me how to play the guitar. Yeah.
Are you a good player?
No,
I bet you are.
I no, to be honest, I am. I'm not gonna lie, I am, because I had to perform with my guitar at many occasions while singing and playing at the same time.
Oh, so you're good.
Yeah, so I'm okay. And you still have videos on the internet about those things. So I was like 16, so I'm still good. Yeah, so so that's the thing. I think I've also developed a very weird relationship with the guitar because of my dad. Because sometimes I used to look at it and I used to hate it because it used to make me remember about my dad. But then I developed also a very like independent attachment to playing the guitar and to music. And then I started just having a band like everybody else in high school with my friends, just singing, me playing the guitar and everything. We started doing like concert here and there, and it was fun. It was really like cute and fun. Wow. My mom used to come and you know, assist to it, like not assist, sorry, she used to come in and see me playing. And it's funny because at this point she was always telling me like, oh my god, you should go on X Factor, you know, like those shows and everything. I was like, nah, that's not for me. To be honest, I should have, but it's fine. But she always should go anyway. But it was still not enough for me to consider it as like, okay, I should take it seriously, because my dad never took it seriously, like I mean professionally, sorry. In my family, my uncle had a career, like a consultancy career, and then he started doing music, but because he had a lot of money, he started like having albums and stuff like that, like out of like thin hair. But it was very much a game for him. And then I had other people in my family that was doing music professionally, but they were like in Cameroon. So, but that's the thing, I've never been like, okay, I can take music seriously. And also because I've never seen a girl like me on media, because I was in France. I've never seen a girl like me with my color being on TV and successful from it and those kind of things. So I had like all those ideas that, okay, no, it's not good for me. Like my family probably doesn't want me to pursue a career in music. I've never seen somebody that could actually be a musician like me. I don't know. I don't think. And also the style of music that I do is not like because that's also, oh yeah, I need to say that. I want to say that. Yes. So I started learning singing in a choral. Okay. In a choral, yeah, choral.
Yeah. In a choir.
In a choir, yes, sorry, choral is French. In a choir. So I have like a very classical background in terms of singing. And then I started learning like soul, gospel, and things like that. But then I realized that that's not the type of music that I want to do. Essentially, what I really feel is like indie rock music with a touch of soul into it, because obviously rock and indie comes from soul and gospel and blues. So, but I've never felt like I'm gonna be this diva. Like that's not. And that's not, yeah. And I felt like the only type of black singers that I've seen was like this diva type of singers with soul and blues. And I have the voice, like I could do it, but it's just not my calling. Like I want to be able to scream and release certain type of emotions that I can't do it when I'm singing blues or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so also that made me feel like, okay, I don't think I can be myself with music. And then I pursued my other endeavors, social studies and etc. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it, like I'm tired of this. Like I want to be able to, I don't know if I can swear, sorry.
For me it's okay, I don't know the internet.
I want to be able to do my music the way I want to do my music, because I'm really talented, and also when I sing I really feel like a spiritual connection with myself and the world. Like I really feel elevated and grounded at the same time. It's like such a massive moment, and I also feel the power of my ancestors when I'm singing a lot.
It's powerful.
Yeah, but it's very powerful for me.
There is something with music which I don't understand because I'm not a musician, but I'm getting the taste of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that it takes you elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like
1000%.
There is this group of singers and musicians from Colombia that I'm starting to like kind of get into to learn about the traditional music there. And one of them has this album that is called The Fifth Element is Music.
Wow.
And we were like talking about why. He says it's just that takes you literally, like you are, music is everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
Like you have a bad day, what you do, you go to music that will make you feel worse or feel better. You decide. But then you have a good day, you choose as well about that. Like it changes your mood a lot. And I guess that has to do with the vibrations that they are used.
Yeah, exactly.
And the more raw the music is, the more you connect with it.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. I think it's because we tend to forget that at the end of the day, we are vibrational entities. We are made of frequencies, you know. It's the same as fish in the water, like these frequencies and vibrations and all that kind of thing that they feel through the water. And it's the same for us. It's just we on Earth. And at the end of the day, music is frequencies, is vibrations. So obviously we are going to be more, more prone to go towards a certain frequency when we are sad, because also emotions are frequencies. So when we are sad, we want to go towards more like minor chords, soul chords, what you call soul chords, because that call your soul, what you call seventh chords, because it touches your soul a little bit more, and it calls this type of emotion melancholic emotions. We are very happy. You also have what you call major chords. It's like C chords. It's I wouldn't be able to play it right now, but I can explain it. I can explain it. When we are happy, we also have what you call happy chords, which is major chords. And it's most of pop songs, it's only major chords, because it's this type of vibrations. And that's why when you listen to pop music, you are very like happy, and it's the rhythm, but it's mainly the chords. It's always the same chords, and that's why your frequency is very high when you listen to pop songs. And mostly of sad songs is minor songs. So for example, Billie Eilish, which is a very famous singer, she used a lot of this minor seventh chords, because she really grabs onto this sad, melancholic part of ourselves. And I think also that's why people are so drawn to her. And I love her music. It's not a clash or anything. I love her music, but I'm just explaining why people are so drawn to her, because a lot of people actually don't understand this kind of thing. So that's why I want to talk about it. But that's also, that's why they're so drawn to her, because her music is really not sad, but it's just melancholic. Like she's able to really grasp humans' emotions through music. So like that's the power of music, really. That's the power of music,
and it's everywhere. Look, if we go to a movie, how they set the tone.
Exactly, it's music. 1000%.
Or like, obviously in photography it's like a bit more still, but if you have like a photography exhibition, you have music there to set the tone.
Exactly.
So it's like it's everywhere.
Exactly, and it's really this. It's really to set the tone. It's really to set the atmosphere and all that kind of thing. So music is powerful in both of the terms. Like you said, when you're sad and you listen to sad music, you're gonna be more sad. I don't think that, that's just my personal opinion, by the way. I think that when you're sad and you listen to sad music, it doesn't necessarily elevate your soul. It just helps you to release the feelings, but it doesn't elevate you. It just makes you feel more sad. That can help you to release the soul.
Sometimes like you have these emotions stuck there, right? And you cannot cry, you cannot shout, you cannot nothing. And then you listen to the song and it helps you to release. Doesn't matter how long you go. Obviously, don't stay there forever. But
that's my point.
It helps a little bit.
I agree 1000. It helps to release you, but it doesn't help to elevate. But obviously, to be able to elevate yourself, you need to release first. So I that's how powerful music is. It's like, and also I love to listen to music because somebody else might say better than you can, somebody else might have better words. Like one of my favorite artists, which is Citian Color, he has a way of saying things.
My sister introduced that. He's beautiful.
Exactly.
I love it.
He has a way of talking that just gets to you. And that is the artist also that got me out of depression when I was younger. Like he helped me go through the worst times of my life, because he has a power that, for me, he's like, oh my God, like literally, he has like a divine power. And I hope he's going to be able to see this, because he has like really a talent from God's, and I can feel it when he sing it, because it really touches my soul and it really speaks to me in a way that I don't feel like this for any other artist. That's why I have a tattoo as well. Yeah, my girlfriend's sister has a tattoo as well. Like it's just he is exceptional. So yeah, that's how music is powerful. Yeah,
it's a good journey. You have been up and downs with music then, because it has good memories but not so good memories.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it.
It's really important. Okay, as you are a multi-passionate soul, we need to talk about your cooking.
Yeah, my cooking.
I find that to be a different art. But I see art anywhere. But in my family, we have chefs.
Yeah.
My brother is one, my dad is one, my sister is one. She has own a restaurant. I see how much they enjoy and experiment.
Yeah.
And I have tasted as well. And it's like,
yeah.
So I know that you have a passion for cooking as well. And I really would like to dig a bit more on that.
Of course. I think it's two things. I think, and it's funny because if my mom see this, it's so funny because when she used to cook, I used to hate helping her, like hate it. Like I used to be like, oh my God, I cannot be able to do this. I used to be so reluctant about helping in the kitchen, cooking or anything like that. Just anyway, when I think about it, it's mad. And she used to be so mad at me for this, because in most of African traditions and African families, everybody's helping at the kitchen. So
you were like, no,
I don't want to do it. And then when I moved out from my place, which was when I was 22, and I started cooking for myself, all of my mom's habits came into me. Like all of them, meaning like the way she used to cook. And I realized it while I was cooking, that literally the way she is cooking is the way that I was cooking, like the food that I was doing. And that was just crazy. Like the realization of it, like what I was eating, how I was eating, everything. And I was like, oh my God, when they say like you're coming from when the apple doesn't fall far from the tree and all those things, I was like, yeah, that's me. And yeah, I found like a pleasure cooking, and I realized that was okay. That's literally my mom. I was feeling warm while cooking. I feel very happy, very warm, and everything. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely the warmth of my mom growing up and cooking for me and everything. Especially because she was very busy when I was growing up, so her cooking was always like I was so happy about it, and I loved the way she makes
connect,
food.
Right?
Yeah, and I love the way she makes food, so I was super happy about it. And then during COVID time, I had a spiritual awakening, and I became vegan. I became vegan, and that
you
has...
still are.
Yeah, I'm still... of course.
Not because I tried, but I failed.
I still very much vegan. And that has completely changed the way that I see foods, completely changed the way that I cook, completely changed the way that I just enter the kitchen, mostly because I had to relearn food, and I actually realized that I didn't learn anything. I hadn't known anything before being vegan. And I started leaning into nutrition and what is it that I need to eat and how much I need to eat it and everything and all these kind of things. And I realized then before being vegan, I was eating like shit. Like I realized that I wasn't.
So you cooked?
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like you think that when you grow up, it's like you learn what you are giving, right? So I thought that just eating like rice and chicken was good for me. I thought that was it. You know what I mean? That if I eat rice and chicken, it's going to be good. If I eat a bowl of pasta with chicken or not chicken inside, just pasta and sauce, that's good. I didn't think much of it because I had no interest in food, no interest in nutrition, no interest in anything. And also no interest in learning was best for me, because that's also learning was best for myself and my body and my spiritual journey. So I started learning everything about cooking, and I've really enjoyed learning each ingredients and why I need to eat it like this, why I need to cook it like this, and how long I should be cooking it. Because also that's the thing, because when I start learning something, I'm like literally learning everything that I could be able, like everything
In
I can learn
detail,
about,
yeah.
everything I can learn about the subject, I am going to dive deep into it. So I started learning about how many minutes I should be cooking like an onion. And
Okay.
for what purpose? Like literally everything.
Okay.
And I also realized that most of it I've learned it while watching my mom cook. Because for example, I remember watching my mom cooking onion for a long time. I didn't understand why. I just knew that it was tasting good, but I didn't understand why. And then I understood that it was to release the juice out of it. And then I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. It's so good. And like, these kind of things. And I've literally found another spark of life through cooking. And now I just really enjoy cooking, and I've also said to my girlfriend, and I would love to be able to open something one day that with cooking and spiritual awakening, I've understood that my soul is not only about music. I cannot do one thing in this life, and it might take different stages, but I know that I'm not going to do music my whole life. Like professionally, I want to be able to tour, to release songs, and to be able to to live off my music, of course. But I know at some point that I also want to be able to open a restaurant and then cook, and then you know what I mean. So it's like I know that I have all those type of loves, and cooking is a big one. I love to cook for people. I've told you, like, I need to also cook for you. Like, I love to be able to.
I'm waiting for that.
I love to be able to to research like recipes. I have like literally cooking books now, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 27 and I already have cooking books. Like, what the fuck?
One day you're young, and the day after.
And the day after you have cooking books. Yeah, there you go. Adult life. You have cooking books. And literally, and it's so funny because the first cooking book that I've actually like ordered, I was, I think 24, 25, like when I turned vegan, I was like, oh my God, I want a cooking book. And I was like, the old me would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cooking book? Really? Like.
Was that not you?
Exactly.
But you changed.
But I changed, yeah, 1000%. Wow. And I think like when people are telling me like, oh, I cannot change and stuff like that, I always have those ideas about myself and about other people, how not easy it is to change your mindset. It's a lot of work, but it's possible. It's 1000 possible. Definitely. I always say, as the first example, when people are telling me like, oh, was it hard to be vegan? I always say, guys, I used to fight with chicken with my sister. I always say that. I used to fight for chicken with my sister. Can you believe? And I am vegan now. Like, I am vegan now.
But what was to make, like, what makes you to become vegan? What was the thing?
So for me, it was mainly spirituality. It was actually only spirituality, to be honest. It was like a shift from a day to another. During COVID, I had a lot of time to think about myself. I was also in a very toxic relationship back then. That helped me, that triggered me in so many different ways. Like so many different ways that I had to face myself in a lot of different ways. Then I had to face myself, a lot of toxicity that I have, a lot of patterns that I had to unlearn about myself. And that's when I started deep like diving into like the connection about what you eat, how you treat your thoughts, negativity around you, all these kind of like, baby steps that you do. And then the more I was like sleeping on it and thinking about it, I was like, oh my God, like I don't. And also I have PCOS, which is like a polycystic syndrome, ovarian syndrome. And I knew that like everything inflammatory for me wasn't good. All this kind of thing. I also gained a lot of weight during COVID because I was eating a lot of sweets and a lot of bullshit. So it was like it was like a major shift. It was like, I really want to change who I am. I don't like what I'm seeing in the mirror. I don't like how I'm feeling. I don't like any of it. And because I'm also very prone to depression, I was also very depressed at that time, and very miserable. So I was like, it's either one way or the other. It's either like I'm going to save myself, or otherwise it's not going to go good. And the only way to do that, the only way to save myself is to change, because I cannot be that person. This person is not helping me. This person that I was not serving me, So I had to change my beliefs. I had to change who I was. And I knew what needed to be done to do it. And I had like a massive calling that plant-based living was a way for me to do it. It was like a calling. Like literally, I cannot. It's like it was my calling. It's like, you need to do this. And that's crazy, because literally, I think I told you already, the day before being vegan, I was having shrimps. Like, it's not like, and I want to say
this is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I really want to like mark it, because it's really this, like, I didn't, and I want to be honest with you, I didn't think about the animals first. I thought about myself. The animals came after, when I was still spiritually awake, and that's when I was like, oh my God, the animals, earth, the planet, blah, blah, blah. But that was after I had my own spiritual awakening about myself and my own body and my own mind and my thoughts and who I want to be, like really who I want to be and elevate myself. And I knew that plant-based, I mean, I felt the strong calling that I needed to be plant-based in order for me to elevate myself and achieve new heights, new levels for my identity. And after that, I lost weight. I became more stable in my mind. I wasn't with the toxic ex. And I don't want to say that if you go vegan, everything's going to go well in your life. I don't want to say that.
Like,
I don't want to say
let's
that.
become vegan. No.
And your life is going to change. I don't want to say that, but I'm still an activist. So I'm still going to say that it does change a lot of things. It basically changed the way you think. And because your think is the source of everything else in your life and how you create your reality, it changes your reality. So me being vegan changed the way I thought before, and it changed my reality about myself, about the way I see myself, about the way I love myself. It changed so many things. But I knew it was like one key to a door that was going to open a lot of other doors. And I was also doing a lot of deep work, internal work, daddy issues that I had. I was also working on them at the same time. So all of that made me like, and I was so happy.
Yeah, of
really.
course, it's a change.
Yeah.
And I think that anything and everything that we do affect the inner and outer
Yeah.
of ourselves. So
Yeah.
changing your diet is definitely a crucial thing.
Oh, yeah,
like
1000%.
when AwakeNomada started, it was a channel in
Yeah.
Instagram to talk about 5 basic things to make your life better, and one of them was the diet. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah.
I don't eat much meat, though, I have to say. I become more like a fishy-tarian kind of thing.
Pescatarian,
or
yeah.
pescatarian, yeah. But it's like meat is not a big thing on my life. Like I can live without it.
Yeah.
But I tried to be a vegetarian for
Yeah.
a little while, and I saw as well the change, and that
Yeah.
was as well because learning of spirituality helped me
Yeah.
to understand the harm that the processed food that is out there, meat included, how much was it hurting me, how much hormones does it have, how
Yeah.
much shit is in a lot of things. So
Yeah.
one of the pillars for your well-being is the food that you consume. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
Like it's facts on that.
Yeah.
The other one was the sleeping. The other one was the exercising. The other one was the community, and
Yeah.
the other one was your life purpose.
Wow.
So I talk about this because that was what helped me from being a miserable person to be someone that knows at least where to go. Like I know what to grab when I'm not feeling good. I
Yeah.
know what to do when I'm not feeling good. Doesn't mean that because you're vegan, vegetarian, or because you are in the spiritual path,
Yeah.
life is perfect. No, it's not at
It's
all.
not.
But like I have these things. Like we were having this conversation the other day. When the period is coming, you don't feel good, this and that, and what I want is sugar and chocolate and this and that, and
Yeah.
yes. But then you explain me like, no, you have to eat fiber.
Yeah. 5.
So
yeah.
if you know that the period is coming, you know what to eat
Yeah.
to feel better.
Yeah.
And it works with anything, because sugar and processed food cause depression.
Yeah.
And that's facts, and those are studies to
Yeah.
back up that. So if you know that, then you know how to replace or how to slowly change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely really important, and it obviously doesn't make your life perfect, but does it?
Yeah.
Be better.
It better.
And
1000%.
Is that
1000%. I totally agree with you. I think for myself also I had to, because that's the thing, I think there's a gap between like knowledge and action when you know something that is not good for you, and actually take action on it.
Yes.
And when I was in, when I was like spiritually asleep, when I was like mostly depressed and miserable, it was really hard for me to take action. And that was even worse because you know what's good, but you're still doing what's not good for yourself.
Yes.
And that
There's a lot
is
of guilt.
Exactly. And that makes you going into a process of shame and guilt and, oh my God, I'm not this, I'm not that, I will never be. You know what I mean? And that was for me really, really hard to look into myself and be like, you see, I told you, you can't do this. You're not able to be this person, you see, like, and reinforcing, because it's like, because you are not doing what you want, like what you're supposed to do, you yourself reinforcing the fact that you're not good enough or you cannot do this, you know. And that was really hard. Because I've went through this period as well, like even after being vegan, and I knew that some things were still inflammatory for me. I knew that I still need to eat this type of food. And I was still eating probably something processed, something sugary, and I was like, you see, but when I made this little change into my life, it actually brought me peace. It brought me peace because I wasn't fighting with my brain and be like, oh, I told you were not able to do this. Now look at you, you're gonna eat this. I was like, no, I'm not gonna eat it. So I'm good. I feel better. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like I'm not fighting off the demons. I'm fighting less, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm fighting less. And sometimes I'm gonna have sugar. I was actually explaining yesterday to Maria that I had like an anxiety episode, like a real bad one a couple of days ago, and I had so many croissants at the same time. I was binge eating, and in the process of it I was feeling really ashamed and guilt, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it because I feel like I have to do it, and after that it's gone. And I did it, and the thought of it was gone, and after that I felt ashamed, but the day after I was feeling at peace because I did it. I didn't fight it. I didn't, you know what I mean?
But that's the thing. I mean, we cannot be perfect.
Exactly.
And have a perfect life all the time.
Yeah.
It's impossible because life and its ups and downs bring you to these kind of things. I had this conversation as well with Maria the other day.
Yeah.
I was feeling ashamed because I don't watch TV and I don't like series or things that are bullshitty. No, I like something that has something that will fit me, a value. And since I wasn't feeling really well, I was like, I just want to watch a series, sit in the sofa and do nothing. I sat there and I finished a 6 seasons series. That was not in one day, okay. I have to say.
Yeah.
But I managed to work and watch at the same time. So I was like editing while watching whatever.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was feeling so guilty for that because it's not a habit of mine. But I was like, but what? You don't do this all the time, and you need to rest and disconnect, because I just didn't want my brain to be thinking. And I was like, okay, if I do that. And I finished it, and when I started and I saw that I was feeling guilty, I was like, no way. There is no way you're feeling guilty for sitting down a week of a year doing this.
Yeah, of course.
It's not. So I think that we cannot take ourselves to the extremes, because we are in this plane, in this world, to enjoy as well what is here.
I agree.
And it comes music, it comes with food, it comes with photography, with whatever, traveling, whatever you like.
Yeah.
But when you cannot have your perfect life, then enjoy being a human.
Exactly.
That's it.
I agree. No, 1000%. I feel like that's the thing. Like it's very hard to keep up with having like a perfect life, because obviously you have so many things thrown at you, you know, and
the stronger you become and the more awakened you are, the harder the test become, and you are like, can you just hold on a minute, the universe, stop it there, give me a break, and then you restart again, because sometimes you can just like, no, I mean, yes, it's hard enough, with which I get you, that you like to do loads of things and explore lots of things, me too. So it's hard enough with that you don't understand where you are putting your egg.
Exactly.
Like, okay, where do I go? Because you like so many things. Then you have other issues like family issues, mommy, daddy issues. Then you have things at work. Then you have this and that. So sometimes it's like, just stop and just don't do anything. Just be. And yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree 1000%.
I think that we are good with our conversation. How do you feel about it?
Thank you so much. I mean, I feel great.
I love
feel
it.
great.
I really love it. I
same.
really have so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing your soul a little bit with us.
Yeah, thank
sharing
you.
your passions and your point of view in life. I think that we, I hope the public does as well, got a lot of this, because it's like looking at the world through somebody else's eyes, and an artist and a multi-passionate soul like you are. It's amazing. And I am so happy that I have someone from African background here, from Cameroon.
Cameroon.
It was missing. I was looking for that someone, I couldn't find it. You got there. So I was like, it's really good, because I have this, it's a nomad podcast, right? So I want to feature all here, everyone, different race, different color, different language, different background, different culture, because this is what we are.
Of course.
We are really different. And this is the last episode of this first season, so you're closing it. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
This next season is gonna be about spirit and soul. A lot of things, different things coming up. We will keep going with the art spectrum as well, but this is the 12th episode. We're gonna close it here. I need a little break from this because it's loads of work.
Okay, I think what I want to say to you guys and to myself is to not be scared. Don't be scared. And if you are, pursue whatever your heart is telling you to pursue. Making food, walking, sleeping, be connected with your body, meditating. Make sure though that you're always questioning your own thoughts, because as we were talking earlier, the power of thoughts, of your own thoughts, is going to define your own reality. So the more negative thoughts you're going to allow yourself to grab onto, the more negative your reality is going to be. So make sure that you're able to balance everything. Don't be overly positive, but make sure you're able to balance everything and just pursue whatever your heart is telling you to do. We don't have a lot of time on this earth, okay? So we need to make sure to make the most of it. That's it. Peace.